Making money online is all over the internet, especially when it comes to setting up your own online store and making money with dropshipping. So for those of you guys that are new, my name is Yash and I've been dropshipping since 2017. That's right. I was only a junior back in my undergrad years when I first started my Shopify dropshipping store. And it's funny on how I actually got started. During the time, it was the summer between my sophomore and junior year of my undergrad years, and I was interning for a company I absolutely dreaded to work at. And I came across a YouTube ad by an OG named Mike Vestal about, starting your own dropshipping store. And since then, I've been able to not only generate multiple 8 figures in revenue for my own Shopify stores, but I've had the privilege to coach multiple people around the world. I mean, dozens of individuals. Some of them have even quit their 9-to-5 jobs and actually achieved that location neutral income. Today, I'll be giving y'all the most important lessons I've learned along my journey so I can shortcut you guys on your learning curve. And of course, on how you can be successful on your own dropshipping journey, because quite frankly, if I did it, you can too. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is budget on actually getting started. If you're someone who's watching this thinking of starting their own Shopify store, or maybe you're still a beginner, how much budget do you actually need? Because quite frankly, there is so much discrepancy about this specific topic in the space. All right, so I'm not going to beat around the bush, but the more the merrier, okay? Think of dropshipping on Shopify like an actual business or a startup. The more funding a startup has access to, the better. So if you ask me during the time of watching this video, there's 2 main ways to start and actually see some sort of success. The first way is actually organic dropshipping. Now, this can be done through TikTok Organic or through TikTok Shop. And I would say, give or take, you need a budget of about $8,000. And this is because you're going to have to be ordering the actual product, whether it be from Amazon or eBay, to film content or send it out to different UGC creators out there. And then on top of that, you also need to account for refunds, chargebacks, so on and so forth. This is a great way to start, again, if you are working with somewhere between $800 to $1,200 in terms of budget. Now, if you're someone who wants to get straight into it when it comes to paid advertising, right, Meta or TikTok, Meta, FYI, has been my bread and butter for the past 6 or 7 years, I would say. I've spent millions and millions of dollars on the platform. But again, like I'm saying, if you are considering to start the paid ads route, I would say a budget of about $2,500 to $3,500 is ample enough. And now one more thing I do want to throw in there is that there is no wrong or right platform, right? You can make money running ads on TikTok and also Meta as well. And then you can eventually transition to Facebook, which is a little bit more intricate, I would say. So whether it be Facebook or Meta ads or TikTok ads, you'll typically spend about $50 to $150 per product test. So think of it that way. And then lastly, you will have some standard and miscellaneous costs associated with even running paid ads, okay, on top of not only spending that little bit of money testing each product, but your Shopify plan, right? Your Shopify apps, other paid ad softwares to perhaps research products, right? These are things that you have to consider that you'll get charged for on a month-to-month basis. Think of them like reoccurring costs. So whichever route you go towards, I recommend starting with testing 2 to 4 quality products per week. And then in order to scale up, I will say this because people are always drawn to these sexy Shopify dashboards and screenshots, which is all great and all, but you have to make sure that you have some sort of liquid at hand or really, really, really good credit, right? Because you're going to be potentially spending hundreds or if not thousands of dollars per day, not only paying your ad provider, whether it be Meta or TikTok once again, but also, again, those miscellaneous costs, those basic expenses, but also paying for the cost of goods. You're going to be paying your supplier on a 1 to 2 day basis. So if you plan to scale, make sure you have access to funding, liquid in your bank account, right, straight up, or really, really good credit. Personally, I like to utilize Amex Business Gold. It's one of the best out there for running online businesses. I also want to talk about the type of store because there's a lot of DMs I get on Instagram and other platforms saying, Yash, what is the best type of store to start with? Is it a general store? Is it a one product store? Is it a general niche store? Well, I would say none. So when you're first starting out, ladies and gentlemen, hear me out. The name of the game always is and should be speed and efficiency. So what I do is more of a combined hybrid approach, and I start with something called a general one product store when I'm first starting out. A general one product store allows you to be flexible and test multiple products in different niches. Whether it be home improvement, home decor, beauty, fashion, clothing, apparel, it does not really matter. My recommendation is to be flexible and to adapt to all kinds of products in the market, right? Don't be emotionally attached to something that you only are passionate about. I really don't agree when people say this, quite frankly. Your goal at the end of the day should be to find something that's working in the market, doesn't matter in what niche it's in. So back to the general one product store, what this essentially is a general store on the back end and a one product store on the front end, where all you're really changing is the product page for each product that you're testing. You don't have to change any of the brand assets such as the logo, the domain, the color schemes, so on and so forth. I actually have a full breakdown on how to set this up step by step, so click on that video right over here. I don't want to get too deep into that for the purpose of this video. Oh, and also if you are thinking of starting a new Shopify store, be sure to utilize my link in the description down below, because you now can for only $1 a month. Pretty sweet if you ask me. So yeah, keep things simple, right? I don't really start new stores very often anymore, as I have two white label brands I'm focusing on right now. One's nearing the $5 million mark, the other is nearing about the $1 million mark right now. But when my clients and my students do start a new Shopify store when it comes to testing products, this is the exact way they do start. So is dropshipping dead? No. And will it ever be? Not really, and more on that in just a sec. But I want you guys to know that about 500,000 people get access to the internet every single day around the globe. And all this really means is that people will continue to buy online more and more as the days go on. You have to understand the fundamentals. Dropshipping is a business model. A model per se never dies. A model only changes, and as it changes throughout the years based on the market, the consumer demand, so on and so forth, it's your job as a dropshipper, as a good entrepreneur, to adapt and pivot where and when needed. For example, certain Facebook ad strategies that worked even 3 or 4 years ago don't work right now when it comes to testing products. And I will say that the top 3 skills that I would put an extra emphasis on if you're watching this and you're thinking of starting, or maybe you're a beginner, you've been at this whole dropshipping game for a few months, and that first skill is copywriting, the ability to write good ad copy and compelling product descriptions. A great book is Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. I've actually have treated this like my handbook, almost like my copywriting Bible, and I've read it multiple times throughout the years. Something else I recommend you doing is putting in the effort of practicing product descriptions other than the products that you're already testing, right? Literally do product descriptions and ad copy for fun. At the end of the day, people are lazy out there, right? I'm talking about the mass majority of people. You have to be willing to do things that most people aren't doing to excel. Repetition is what will propel you ahead of your competition. Kind of piggybacking off of copywriting, human psychology is the other thing, right? Understand and learn how people shop online. What are people's trigger points? And once you understand this, you can almost sell to anyone, right? Whether it be a Karen living in South Dakota who's 50 years old, or whether it be a kid who's 22 years old living in New York City who likes Marvel product. And again, that same book will help you understand this a whole lot more, because marketing has to do a lot with customer behavior and human psychology. And this can even be as detailed as what fonts work well, what colors work well when it comes to certain niches. For example, if you're selling outdoor products, more of a neutral color scheme like a teal or light bluish or grayish color scheme works a little bit more well compared to something bright like red or orange or anything like that. And then the last thing is maybe the obvious, but growth marketing, right? Specifically, get really good at one platform, whether it be TikTok ads or Facebook ads, by spending money on these platforms the right and proper way. Yes, you actually have to spend money on these platforms to get better and better and better and better, right? That is the only way that you will learn hands-on. And I don't know a lot of good media buyers out there. So the point is, get really, really good at the intricacies at one advertising platform, and then the rest will naturally come to you, whether it be Google or Pinterest or Snapchat, so on and so forth. And then lastly, as a bonus, graphic design. This is pretty slept on, but you will utilize a lot of images and creatives, whether it be for running ads or whether it be on your product page. So get really, really good at graphic design. You know, mess around with video editing or even on something like Canva or Photoshop, right? This will really save you a lot of time and money down the long run. If this video was informative, make sure you guys do drop a like on this video, subscribe for new videos every single month. And if you are someone who's struggling with your current dropshipping business, maybe you're thinking of getting started like I mentioned, make sure to schedule a one-on-one growth call with myself. Again, the link to that will be in the description down below. I only take a handful of calls every single month, so make sure you invest into yourself, take advantage of this, and other than that, it's your boy Yash. I'm out. Peace.